Can you see us?
Yeah, we're recording. Hi, Buster.
Hi guys.
How are you going?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So today we're interviewing Buster Turner, who's the director of Rooftop Smokehouse, one of our favourite places in Barcelona.
And one of our favourite people.
Oh, yes.
And so we want to just talk about what's happening for you, what's happening with the business, and how you're coping with COVID-19, how you're adapting, and what we can look forward to over the next couple of months with the things that you're doing. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, I know who you are because we are really good friends, but a lot of our viewers won't know who you are. So tell us a little bit about who you are, how long have you been in BCN? How long have you been in Barcelona?
So I've been here over 10 years now. I moved here, my girlfriend Carla had an opportunity to work here, so we came out. I was working as a photographer assistant in London, and that was great, but I didn't have anything really serious, and she had a proper career, so we moved over here over 10 years ago.
But Carla's from Catalonia, no?
She's from here, and she got a job in tech. She was working at fast fashion at the time, and we moved here because she had a good opportunity, and I tried to continue to work as a photographer, but it was impossible with no contact. So my first job was a bike tour guide. It was the only job I could get speaking English. And I was taking tourists around the city. And then I didn't really have any sort of like grandparents, or family that were especially good cooks who, the cliche of, they teach you and you have genes in your blood. I grew up in microwave meals in London, and it was all it was all a bit like that. And then
you and I have had a few beers or a few wines over the fact that both of our mothers aren't the best cooks on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his mum doesn't have Facebook, so she won't be watching this.
Good. Yeah, I actually hope she doesn't see this. She's cooking now, actually.
Oh, really? Your mum is?
But because she's forced to, she's in lockdown.
No,
There's no takeaways.
You have to be resourceful. Although you still can do Uber, and we'll get to you running around the city at the moment in a minute. So how did you get into cooking? Like what was the impetus for you to actually start thinking, oh my God, this is actually where my heart is, and I want to create a career around this?
It was all really by accident. I didn't really think that I was ever going to be a chef or wanted to be a cook. I was cycling past a cooking school when I was a bike tour guide every day. I was passing by Hoffman in the center of Barcelona, and I went in one day because I wasn't going to be I didn't want to be a bike tour guide for my whole life, so I went in there to find out a bit of information about doing a 2-day course. And of course, in my rubbish Spanish, they understood a 2.5-year course that I signed up for.
So that's somewhat lost translation.
Yeah, and I went. They gave me a bunch of tests, and I did them, and then and I thought, I knew it was quite a serious cooking school, so I was expecting tests, but not so thorough. And then when they said I got into the course, which I was really happy about, they just said you'd have to cut off your hair because you have long hair.
So your Spanish wasn't so rubbish.
It was really bad. They were kind of practical and puzzles. It wasn't so much written stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, the tests were pretty difficult. I thought I just failed them all. And when I was quite surprised when they called me that I got in, and when they said you have to cut your hair, which is long, if you want to come do the course, that's when I was like, guys, you're mad. Like this is too extreme for a 2-day course. I'm not coming. And they said, you know, they explained everything at that point, saying, no, you don't understand, it's a 2.5-year course and it's a lot of money each month, and you got in, it's, you know, there's only like 20 places out of like the 200 or so who applied, and you got in, it's quite a big deal. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just went for it, and
grateful actually. If you think about the fact that you took for a 2.5-day course, you got into a 2.5-year course, and instantly your soul was like, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to pay the fees, and I'm going to do this.
That's it. And I went for it, and it was the best thing I did. The best accident I ever did, and that was great. And I learned a whole lot, and I got my ass kicked in various languages, and learned how to cook and learned how to work hard. And that was great.
Yeah, I mean, what a story. It's a really amazing thing to actually have that sort of serendipity where you just think, oh, this is what, like, I need to change my life, and then all of a sudden this happens to you, and also that you had enough courage to do it as well. I mean, it takes guts to go, okay, I'm going to follow this, even though, you know, I'm not quite sure how it came into my hands.
Exactly, kind of fell into my lap, and it was a challenge that I was ready. I think that I didn't realize I wanted or needed, and it was really incredibly challenging, and only through very good friends who helped me through the course, who helped me with my homework, including Carla, you know, and all the help I got through the course from people being really kind and help. I would have failed and given up throughout of it, but people really helped me out. I mean, my first week there, when I finally got into the kitchen bit, you know, it's a Michelin star kitchen, Hoffman, and my first dish was doing bacalao with like gratinado, like a kind of souffle gratinado on top, and my position is right in front of this like two-way mirror, but because it's so bright in the kitchen, you can't really see through the screen. You can only see what's with the reflection behind you, if you understand. So the sala, the dining room, is in front of you, and everyone can see inside the kitchen because it's dark in the sala and very bright in the kitchen, but it's very hard to see into the sala where everyone's eating, all the guests. And my first week, you know, we're getting to know each other, and people are throwing bits of food in my head when I'm trying to focus, and I notice in the reflection of the window that there's, you know, Jesus about to throw another bit of food at my back of my head, and I catch him in the reflection, and I give him the finger like, fuck you, and then I realize I look past my finger and straight into the Michelin star dining room at a big table of people, and I just drop to my knees and basically start to go home. I go to the change room, get changed. I'm gonna leave. Like, everyone's seen what happened. I said, that's it. They're gonna kick me out of the course. And as went back to the change room to get dressed, Jesus ran down and was like, get back in the kitchen. No one noticed. And I was like, of course they did. Everyone saw. I was on those gut-wrenching mistakes. And he's like, no, it's fine, get in there. And he convinced me to get back cooking. And I think it was like one of those Father Ted moments where he kicks the priest up the arse, and it's so outrageous that no one really believes it happened. So I think I got away with it, and thank God, because that would have been a big mistake.
You're an incredibly likable person, so I think that probably gets you away with some of these things.
You're very lovable.
You are lovable. So fast forward then to when we met, because we met when I was doing the bar in Australia, and one of our mutual friends suggested you'd be a great person to help me to train the chefs for the Spanish bar that we were doing. And this was kind of the beginning of you stopping doing the tours, stopping, you know, I mean, you worked for us as a food consultant, and actually looked after those people incredibly well. But, you know, then when we first met, I remember you had just started Rooftop Smokehouse, and it was actually, tell us about where you started it, because I don't know, this is a lovely story as well, that when we first met and we were doing those workshops for the professionals that came over and what have you, we're on your rooftop. That's what we were doing.
Exactly, yeah. After cooking school, I wasn't quite finished learning, and I wasn't actually a very skilled or fast chef. There's cooks that are born to be cooks, and I'm actually quite slow and not very on it. And there's people who are, really on it, and I wanted to keep learning more, and I wasn't ready to go into a kitchen because I didn't feel that was really the place for me either. That after cooking school, everyone goes in different directions. So me and another chef, Jakob, continued to learn more after cooking school and started practicing, experimenting in our rooftop, which was turned into this Breaking Bad laboratory where we started making beer and ferments and pickles and smoking. And after we had all of these tests that we did, we needed people to try them to get some feedback. And that's how we started doing the first pop-ups in Barcelona, where we invited people over to try our food and do it in a dinner format. And people ate it and got good feedback. And it was, that was great. But there was only so many times you can tell the neighbors you're having a bar mitzvah. And
it was amazing.
They called the police.
We were fortunate enough to go to one of those original pop-ups.
You were in the first ones.
Yeah, it was actually really, but it was a really amazing special experience, and I think it's one of those, don't you think?
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that you kind of like put in your, I'm so glad I got to experience that box, it was the beginning of something incredibly special, and to be part of it was really beautiful.
I remember you guys so well, and even though we didn't know each other that well at that point, but I because those were the few dinners, and the first ones were really, really fun.
They were a lot of fun. And so, ultimately, the neighbours really did start to get a bit peeved about the fact that you were
fair enough, running. We had literally a metric ton of wood on my rooftop with a chainsaw and a smoker, and they were in their right to complain. And, and so luckily after that we found this.
It forced you to shift. Yeah.
So that was the next step, which we were, again just fell into our hands, where I don't know if you can see, but that's the chimney.
We can see. Yeah,
we use now as our smoker.
It's incredibly special how that transition happened, and how you went from that. I remember us talking. You're like, I found a chimney. And do you think that we come and have a look? And do you think that we can actually make it into a smoker? Yeah. Really. It would. It must be unique in the world. Surely.
There's a few, but I think this is one of the very few that's actually in use. I don't know. I think that they're all. I think almost every single one is now listed, and this is one that's privately owned and seems to be off the radar. And we happened to get permission from the government and the owners when we started this project. So we totally lucked out. We weren't even expecting to use it when we got hold of it. We were going to put a salido almost, like to get rid of the smoke through a vent, as everyone else does in restaurants and stuff. But we got permission to use it. It was insane that it's like an active chimney that's over 100 years old.
Yeah, do you know if there's any other people who do the same sort of produce that you do in the world who actually have an actual chimney like you have?
I don't know about that. The chimney acts as a flue. So it's incredibly beautiful, and we're so lucky to be using it. It's very iconic. But how it affects the smoke is actually just allows us to have a lot of it's got negative and positive air pressure because it's so tall. It creates its own and it sucks smoke from the smoker. But it doesn't. In some ways, it doesn't. The important things when we smoke is the quality of the product, and we visit every farmer before we or whatever it goes in our
Yeah,
smoke.
so
We personally go.
so let's talk.
That and good wood. It doesn't really, the chimney is just, an incredibly iconic, beautiful thing. But if there wasn't that, it comes down to the produce that you put in there, and that's the main important thing about it.
It still works. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the produce that because I know from being around you and working with you myself, how important your produce is to you, and that is one of the iconic things about what you actually create. So tell us a little bit about how you source because I know that you're very fastidious about how the sustainable the produce is, where it comes from, that it's ethically grown, that these things are really important to you. So
the thing that happened to me after cooking school, I did get a job. I skipped that bit, but I wasn't being a chef directly. I was creating menus for our restaurant. One of my jobs was to source produce, and when I realized when I visited the farms how horrifying animals are treated, fed, and kept, and also it's, depending on the animal, it's also not very great to consume. We tried to sell as much fermented fresh food, fermented food as we do meats and fish, and that's just what we ideally do. But the thing what was shocking is this country like Spain, which is renowned for its produce, for its meat and fish, how people in the industry treat their animals, and it was really, really shocking. And France, Italy, Spain have got this incredible reputation, but there's a massive demand for industrial food because it's cheap, and there's a lot's changed. So when I realized what's out there and what the reality of what we consume day to day and how bad it is, and what I ended up on this mission. I visited, I don't know, over 8 pig farms. It doesn't sound like a lot, but traveling all around Catalonia until I found really good people to work with, and that's what I did for this other restaurant. And then that just became a great thing because I met, it's an incredible way to explore the country, to get to know Catalonia, its culture, its food, and its produce. And it was actually, I'm being selfish, it was purely for fun and interest, and that transmitted into our produce. But it was because it was just a very, very nice thing to do, to go explore, food supplies. And of course, if you did a bit of research before, you don't always have to be disappointed by the things you find. There's really good stuff out there.
Yeah, well, to get Nat started on the issues around animal welfare in this country, and there's a whole nother story there as well.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment.
And yeah, it is. And so when people eat your food, they can be assured. I mean, I myself don't eat I don't eat meat very often, but I will eat meat if I know that if it's ethically grown and that I know that it's been cared for and there is a story behind it, because I feel like that animal needs to be respected and cared for. And I think that it's really important people coming to your dinners or buying your produce understand that what they're buying is ethically grown food that actually has been cared for.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the accidents that we did was that I wish we changed is making pastrami, and this became this this thing that's quite trendy and it's fantastic, and it's a great thing to eat. But I do feel a bit like it's one of those things that actually pork is such a great thing. If we could consume more bacon and less pastrami, that would be very good. Just because, cows aren't really the most sustainable animal, even if it is well raised and ethically sourced. It's just in general, we all need to stop eating so much meat and fish, in my opinion. And we do sell meat. We sell meat and fish and vegetables. But it would be really nice to see the trend of fermented foods and sustainable fish that's been line caught or not being trawled. over have more demand than the beef. So that's something that we try to encourage and push.
It's about education, no? It's about education, and I think maybe so that, I mean, that really brings us on to what's happening right now with COVID-19, because this lockdown obviously is going to change a lot of things about the way we are, and this pandemic is going to actually shift a lot of people about how they, well, we hope. I was watching a comedian the other night, or listening to a comedian, and they were saying, well, how long do you think it will take us to change, and do you think, well, this will be sustainable? And they were just like, well, maybe for a week or two, you know, so like once we get out. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that this really does force us all to look at how we use our environment, how we are caring for the animals that are in our world with us, how you know, how are we going to make this sustainable?
Well, really, you know, health is the most important thing, and I think that's become really clear over the last weeks. And if we're not looking after our world and what we do in it, then, you know, it's bad news. So I don't know. I think that I'm not the right person to kind of preach about any of that, but I think that this is obviously a clear message.
Exactly.
That, you know, we got to wake up a bit.
Exactly. And so how you're coping at the moment? I know that you're bicycling around Barcelona and delivering a lot of your products to people at home, which is amazing. So tell us a bit about how you've switched the business right now, and how you're actually dealing with this.
Well, it's been pretty crazy, because from how we started smoking on our rooftop and inviting people over and doing illegal dinners, to now making produce and selling it to some of the best restaurants. We're so humbled by some of the best restaurants in the world, to a lot of Michelin star restaurants, from going from those humble beginnings to where we got to, and then for that just to, you know, from one week to the next stop. 90% of our business is selling to restaurants, and we have a bar where we which is in the, you know, top 50 in the world, and we supply to that, and that's all stopped. And so it's gone from this incredible like journey to all of a sudden like, hold on a second, we you know, what we're going to do, let everything stop. And of course people have got it a lot, you know, there's going to be people in way worse situations, so I don't want to moan about it, because we're lucky in the sense that we can still do something. And one of those things is, okay, we can't sell to restaurants anymore, we can't do dinners or workshops or have our bar, but I can get on my bike and let people know that we still have produce. And I've been I don't know if you can see it, but down there I've strapped 2 poly boxes to my bike, and I've been cycling around in the rain today, delivering produce all over Barcelona, and it's been pretty amazing. Like, the response from people has been overwhelmingly kind and wonderful, and of course, you know, this is just like for us, it's a moment where we just have to reinvent ourselves and do what we can to survive this the best we can, because we've worked too hard and this project's come too far for this to stop us. So we're doing everything we can to do that.
We feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, it's like, how resourceful can we be?
Exactly, and it's you know, just like you guys, you've worked so hard, and this can't make, you know, be the end of it, you know. And I think you like keep going and being positive and doing what you can, and trying to reinvent, trying to be innovative and be creative and stay positive about it and learn from it, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, you're right. You know, it's like, okay, you need to sort of take a grip and realize that you're better off than a lot of people, and that you just need to find the way out and find the way forward. And we're out, you know, we just have to care for each other and support each other. So I think that's really important right now. So, you know, if people wanted, we can put up your details. If you can send me a link after this, I'll put it up for everybody, and we can actually make sure that they know if they want to order some of your produce. Keep you fit.
By me on my bicycle.
That's amazing. A personal delivery. And we were talking about doing a workshop together online, which might be a bit exciting. So maybe you and I can have a chat in the next day or so, and maybe we could get that organised for people and give them an amazing online experience that they wouldn't normally get. By maybe we were talking about making sauerkraut, which would be great for everybody. It's great for your guts. It helps you. It's your immune system. It'll be fun. And you said you might be able to deliver the kits to them in their house, and then we can do it together when they're actually ordering some produce as well.
I think that could be really fun. And
I think
you never learn better by doing it yourself. So I think that would be a really nice way to get hands on, and then you have something to do.
I think it's an amazing idea. Okay, well, look, it's been so great talking to you, dear friend, and we really appreciate you taking time. We know you're really busy. You've got 3 children as well, and you and Carla must be flat out just looking after the kids, let alone running a business and riding all over the city.
Well, it's funny. We were just saying that we've never had so much balance. It's so weird. Yeah. Like I'm actually exercising for the first time in 7 years. Like I'm so fit right now by sending produce all around town, and it's been pretty. Oh,
that's amazing. No, that's okay. That's all right.
But yeah,
it's amazing. Well, that's what we keep hearing from everybody as well, don't we, Nat?
Yeah, everyone's finding. I mean, apart from the stress of what we're all going through, everyone's finding their calm. I think as well, because you have no choice but to be okay within your own environment.
Yeah, you're going to find the next part, you know.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's chat tomorrow, and let's get this workshop organised, and send me a link now, and we'll put it up for everybody. So, or send us a menu of what people can order, and then we can get everyone in Barcelona supporting you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Right.
Good to see you guys.
Take care, darling.
Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Okay.
See you soon.